Texas takes care of business on the road against number 10 Michigan, winning 31-12. This little instant reaction is part of HornSports' Longhorns coverage. Check us out online at hornsports.com for all the latest in Texas news. And so to begin, I think you got to start with the quarterback position for the Longhorns. Quinn Ewers, guys, when he's on the road in these big game environments, he just seems to always deliver. It almost seems like he's more comfortable on the road than he is at home. Of course, last year against Alabama, this year against Michigan. Now, while Michigan might not be the same championship team that they were a year ago, their defense is still very formidable. And even more so in terms of just, I guess, placing where he's at as a quarterback. I mean, you see him progress through his reads, but also, almost more importantly for Ewers, his pocket navigation has been much improved from the time he first got to the 40 acres to now. The first touchdown of the game, was a pass to Gunnar Helm in the back of the end zone, where Quinn pump faked, stepped up in the pocket, had the awareness not only of stepping up, but knew where the line was, stayed behind the line, and feathered a ball in to Gunnar Helm just in the center of the end zone on the backside. It was a nice pass for Ewers, but also showed his progression as a quarterback. Yet again, making some of the tougher reads and movements in the pocket that a young quarterback typically doesn't make. He's showing that with some maturation over time. Of course, he's had a couple years at college, now a couple years in Sark system, and you can tell he's getting more comfortable and just better overall for the Longhorns. In addition to Ewers, of course, I have to mention Gunnar Helm as well, looking like a real tight end number one, coming a long way from being a 3-star prospect out of Colorado. Now is almost like a Jason Witten sort of safety option for Ewers. He had a couple of plays. It's funny, he always hits the same sort of mini spin move after he catches the ball, which is a move that a lot of tight ends like to utilize. I believe Kelsey is one of those guys that hits the same move. But anyway, had a big game with 7 catches for 98 yards and 1 touchdown. Also wanted to note that Ewers threw 24 for 36 in terms of the completions, 246 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns. So overall, for those guys, big game. Matthew Golden also had a nice catch. Nice pass from Quinn Ewers, bulleting it in to that near corner of the end zone, which I know if you Texas fans are watching the Washington game, we're hoping that he had that on the last drive, but it seems like he's kind of adding that to his arsenal of just throws and abilities. And it's nice to see yet again he has some touch on the deep pass, but is also now better understanding of the game situation and when to laser it in. So yet again, Quinn Ewers and the offense in general, great performance. Jadon Blue got in the end zone on a touchdown reception. Of course, was looking a little shaken up early in the game. I believe it was an ankle injury. That is what Fox was reporting during the game. But he did his job. Trey Wisner, give him kudos. He came in and did enough. And yet again, not anything crazy offensively, but they did what they needed to do in a game like this. And then defensively, shout out Andrew Makuba. I covered him back in high school, and watching an Austin kid come back and play for the Longhorns is quite special. He had an interception early in the game in the second quarter, which wasn't, of course, the decider, but it really set the tone early, in addition to Ewers' touchdown pass. And Derek Williams Jr. also had an interception, so the defense overall, just great. Davis Warren, of course, the Michigan quarterback, was not looking too hot. Former walk-on, but I don't ever disparage against the walk-ons. Michael Taff of the Longhorns, of course, former walk-on as well. But Warren, his second career start, I believe, of course, starting this season for the first time, just not too great from him. He had a couple passes as the game progressed where he'd roll out right and pause and find somebody, and those were good. But at the start of the game, when you needed him most, he was not there. But he wasn't getting too much help either defensively for Texas. That front was keeping the Michigan ground game to a minimum. Donovan Edwards, the star running back, who's also on the cover of the EA Sports College Football game with Ewers, finished the game with 8 carries for 41 yards. So offensively, Kwiatkowski for Texas was able to put guys in the box or just send an extra man, knowing that Warren is not going to be too much of a threat passing the ball, and Edwards couldn't really do much running the ball. And they, as a team, were just trailing early. And yet again, not a super blowout win, 31-12, but even then the score is not quite indicative maybe of what the final tally felt like if you were watching the game. Again, this is a big win for the Longhorns. Next weekend they take on a UTSA team at home in Austin. However, just a final recap on Michigan. Not the team of last year. We'll see how they end their year. It's still early, of course, but it just does not look like this team has the same juice that they had last season. Of course, J.J. McCarthy at quarterback for Michigan is now in the NFL with the Vikings. And that was a big addition. He didn't have to do too much passing, throwing the ball, but he was a good quarterback to complement that running attack, and also had some wheels with his own legs as well. And then Blake Corum, of course, is now in the NFL. So Donovan Edwards, last man standing behind an inexperienced Michigan offensive line as well. I say all that not to discredit Texas, but to keep expectations for where the season's going at a steady pace. Texas, of course, has many different obstacles in their way. Not only the big matchups, such as your Oklahomas and your Georgias, but also some of the little sneaky teams that tend to pop up every year in the SEC. Now, some of the sneaky teams are a little bit more formidable as well. So it's going to be an interesting year for Texas. Yet again, 31-12, big day from Quinn Ewers and Gunnar Helm. And then defensively, Makuba and really the whole squad did quite well until the garbage time touchdown. But if you're a Longhorns fan, definitely happy with a ranked win on the road at the Big House, 111,000 plus people. Not a bad day. And Quinn Ewers yet again showing that he can get the job done on the road in a hostile environment. And thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought about the Texas versus Michigan game. What were your thoughts and takeaways? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, have a great rest of your day.